running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans. Welcome to Talking in Ovals. I'm Alex Cuesta here. My partner in crime, Dave Hyatt, over there. What's going on, brother?
Something that might have gone unnoticed, but I'm certainly all over it. Michael Johnson is starting his own U.S. track league, trying to get those athletes paid.
Oh,
Finally doing what we've been calling for. Michael, thanks for being a fan of the show, damn it. He doesn't listen
MJ,
to the show.
Mr. Goldshoes, man,
Yeah, no, we're pumped
stepping
about
up,
that.
and he has great partners, and he's really trying to get it up. And I don't know if you saw this, but did you see the weird world record that was considered not a world record in the 400 meter because something with the
Yeah.
blocks? I watched that race multiple times. I just have a feeling that they don't want to give credit to anyone in college because I didn't see anything.
What I was reading was it has nothing to do with the actual blocks themselves. They weren't sanctioned blocks that go off because apparently the ones that they use that are sanctioned, like the big meets, once motion is off of it, it reaction times it, and that's how they can get their reaction times down with
Gotcha.
kind of. So because that wasn't there, which to me, pardon my French, is fucking stupid in a 400, right? Because if you have a crap start, you still have another 395 meters to go. Or
Yeah, I mean, listen,
390, so
the-
I think that's
the-
stupid.
Kid ran great.
Yeah.
Either way. So, and one quick, I have to give a shout out to my oldest daughter. She absolutely crushed. She was the lead in her play last night at her middle school, 8th grade. She played Willy Wonka and she absolutely nailed it. So, congrats, Lily. I love you.
Yeah, screw you, Johnny Depp. Anyway, so before we get going, episode 77, it's Wednesday, February 28th of 2024. For those keeping score at home, this would be the last day of February if it wasn't a leap year. We got one more tomorrow, so it's not the last day, but technically every other year this would be the last day, so I don't know. So February 28th, if you like what you hear today, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Go look for us on the socials at Talking in Ovals. And one thing I have been doing, I've been working hard to kind of get the YouTube page up to date. Now there's no videos there, but if you look, there's like the whole Spreaker thing. You could listen to it. So go give us a subscription over on YouTube because that will really help. Be awesome. And very in the nearish future, we will be starting to live stream these, and that will be going directly over to YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. We're ready to make some moves, so we're going to have some fun. So
Absolutely.
last week's show, I want to touch on it. We had
Awesome. So much fun.
a cool show. We had Jordan Geist on. He is the bronze medalist from this past indoor USATF indoor meet for the shot put. He is a two event pro in both the hammer and shot put, and just an absolute monster. Has basically set
NCAA champ multiple times.
and was like, one of the first guys to throw over 70 in high school.
He
And
threw
like,
76 feet in high school, which is insane.
my.
absolute freak. So go back and listen to it. The technicalities he talks about, the gripes that throwers have at the pro level, which hopefully someone like Jordan can latch on to a Michael Johnson and just become a freaking star in one of those things, right? Because if you watch something that Jordan could do, it will be great. So go back and give that one a listen. We're excited about this week's show, but before we get into that, I always have to give a shout out. Our friends over at Red Hour Track Club keep on providing us with awesome PRs. Tom Figueroa over there at the Michigan Indoor State Track Meet for the young ladies over there. 8th grader Leah Garrity in the middle school 60 ran at 8.64. 8th grader Audrey Klein for middle school 800 ran a 239.43. 11th grader Naya Dibke in the 400 ran a 1 minute .92. And non-PR here, but big moves for 11th grader Elena Figueroa in the 16. She placed second with the 458.47. And in the 32, she got third with the 1039.47. So
Solid running.
awesome job. And then for the men there, 12th grader Shea White in the 800 ran a 154.40. And that group had put 4 athletes now into New Balance with the performances. So Leah Garrity for the middle school 60 and 400, Audrey Klein for the middle school 816, Elena Figueroa for the 16 and 32, and Shea White for the 800. So awesome job to all the Red Arrow athletes.
Hell yeah.
We love getting all the PRs. Keep them coming. Our friends in Michigan were pumped. And we have some special people on today who
Absolutely.
are PR monsters who are constantly crushing it. So I'm going to introduce them, and then we could talk about some of the special stuff that we did. So our guest today from my alma mater, Manchester Township, Dave's coaching alma mater, Manchester. super pumped, super proud of these guys. They were able to bring Manchester to a third straight indoor sectional title, which I want to talk about because that was so much fun. But it is Brian Swain. He is the new record holder for the pole vault over at 14 feet, if I'm correct, Brian.
Yeah.
And then we have Joe Kurak, who is the 55-meter hurdle school record holder. Not only that, Ocean County, short conference, beating out one of the people that I ran with, Emmanuel Mayers of Lakewood, who's an absolute great individual. Joey, I don't want to butcher the time. What was it? Was like, was it 7.40?
740 is yep.
740.
Jesus, blazing. So, gentlemen, thanks for coming on. How's it going?
It's going great.
Good.
Yeah. Brian, you go first.
I guess.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to have you both on. So I want to start off, Brian, we're going to jump with you first. What we ask everybody, when did you get the spark to become a pole vaulter? Normally we ask runners because everyone hates running. So when did they get the spark? Pole vaulting's unique, right? Because pole vaulting, it's not those things that no other sport as a kid sets you up unless you're like jumping fences for fun, maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's like, so what made you sit there and look at that bar up top, look at a pole and be like, yeah, that's me?
Well, I remember one day, my freshman year, we were doing, I think we were doing like, we would do these conditionings called piano push-ups. I know Joey knows what I'm talking about. And I remember it came to me, and this was like our third time around. And I was like sitting right in between all the seniors, and I can do like one-handed push-ups and like the push-ups that you jump off the ground and all that. And all the seniors just like looked at me and they were like, "Chef, go make him pole vault." So like just started like practicing a little bit. And it was like, at first I did not want to do it at all because it was just deathly scared to run with the giant pole and fling yourself in any direction. And just the more and more I did it, I just progressed with it really, really quickly and just fell in love with it. And I didn't have to run anymore. So that was like the best part.
So did you ever imagine that you would be coordinated enough to do this? Because I look at me and it's like,
oh no,
I walk into walls. So it's like, how the hell am I going to sit there and accurately put a pole in like a pit that looks big, but probably is tiny as hell while you're doing it? And it's like, so did you ever think you were coordinated enough? And I don't think people realize the full physical body strength it takes and like the core muscles. Like, do you kind of have any out of body experiences while you're up there going, this view never gets old, or like, what is it like while you're doing it?
Well, I was actually on Instagram the other day, and somebody took a GoPro recording of like from a chest mount angle, and and I like posted it, and it like really showed like people, and I had a lot of people text me, and they're like, "That's really what you see," and it's just basically just mat, and then you just see the pole like just kind of sticking out, and then you just throw your arms up. And then eventually you'll jump and you just kind of see nothing but air. And then you swing around and you see everybody behind you. And then you turn around real quick and then you're looking up at the sky as you're falling, hopefully on the mat.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not falling on the actual bar.
Yeah. Or that.
Sounds easy enough.
Or
you make it sound so easy.
Or on the ground or back onto the track or onto other people.
In the box itself.
Yeah.
So, when you did that first actual pole vault, was it terrifying to actually go and
absolutely
put the pole in there and trust that it's not going to snap, that you're actually going to go forward? Like, what was that? Describe that moment, because I could imagine it's exhilarating. And then when it's done, kind of seems like one of those things like, I want to do it again. Like,
yes. So it wasn't until spring of my freshman year that we actually had the mats out and were able to start jumping. And I just remember doing like the first like rows and stuff where you like just stand up and you just go through straight. And it was just like, wow, I'm like not flying, but like I'm literally just throwing myself with this one stick. It's not even like it's a bar that you can hold on to that's attached to the ground. Like, no, I'm in control, but then there's also a level of this pole can literally throw me anywhere.
Yes, it can.
Certainly can. So Joey, I want to jump to you. When was your spark about, you're not only a hurdler, you're a really good 60-meter runner, 55-meter runner, right?
Yes.
Regardless, a really good sprinter. You're just fast, dude. So when did you get the spark of like, hurdles, sprinting being your thing?
Yeah, I mean, So I did like middle school track, but nothing serious. I mean, but then I came back to Manchester because I was at a Tom's River North School actually for middle school. But I remember the one practice we were doing like hurdle mobilities and Griff, or no, it might have been Chef. He was like looking good. You got perfect long legs for hurdles. And I just like, I went home that day and I was like, if he makes me do hurdles, I'm quitting track. I do
Funny,
not want to do these.
funny, because we got a text from Griff this morning. It says Joe told his mother he was going to quit if I tried to make him hurdle.
Yeah, but I mean, like I'm kind of open to stuff, so I just started trying it and started practicing, and then I didn't even race over any hurdles until the spring season of my freshman year. So, and that was a crazy race actually.
So when did you actually buy into it? Like, when was it something that was it after you saw that you were competitive, or was it during training when you were like getting into it? When did it become something where you're just like, all right, I'm going to dedicate myself to getting good at this?
I mean, I would definitely. The first kind of spark was honestly probably like my sophomore year in the outdoor season. It was like my first 400 hurdle race, and like for a sophomore, like that year, it was like a very good time. So that like showed I was like, all right, well, like this is something I could do. Like, why not try to get good, better? And
Yeah.
then my junior year, that's when I think I really like developed physically a lot. So
Well, we got some high praise from your coach because he also sent us. Joe was one of the easiest kids I ever taught to hurdle. Picked it up and was able to three-step almost immediately. It reminded me of Jordan Torney, who we all know is an absolute stud. So
yeah,
he, knowing Griff, he doesn't like to take a lot of credit. He likes to give his athletes credit. I know he's a phenomenal hurdle coach. I've seen him do it, but to get that praise from him, that you're one of the guys who picked up the easiest, and that you guys are both so coachable. What does it mean to hear something like that? Because he's such a great established coach.
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've definitely developed a really close relationship with Griff, and I appreciate like everything he's done because like he does everything the best he can for his athletes. So I mean, it's definitely a very cool compliment from him, and I would take any.
And he's still probably as good a shape as all you guys, because Griff is a freak when it comes to being.
No, yeah, like
So-
he's been running and doing the bike this week at training.
Oh yeah.
And also, thank you for coming back from North, because we like Tom's River North. We communicate with them a good amount on our Talking in Ovals account. But what they've been doing in like the 4x4 and stuff, thanks for
my-
coming back. Thank you for not adding more ammo to them, because like they don't need it. They are a freaking good team there.
Yeah,
So
no, there's that.
thanks. They're so good. Kudos Tom's River North. You guys are doing fantastic over there. So Brian, I want to jump back to you. What have some of your favorite memories been as a pole vaulter, being a part of the Manchester team and things like that? Run back some of your favorite memories from being, a part of Manchester track and field. And even, did you do middle school track? Like, what made you come and continue track?
Yeah, so like growing up, I was always like the outside kid that like fished and hunted and like ran in his boots and everything. I still run in my boots pretty well. But I remember it was like sixth grade, and Coach Morris was like, "Why don't you do track?" And I never was a sports kid. Like I did karate for maybe a month and gave up. That was the closest I ever got. And it was just like talking to my parents about it, and they're like, track is like such an individual sport where you don't gotta like rely on a team or whatever. Like, yeah, in the end, sometimes some meets are team events, but like it's just kind of like you do you, and if you beat yourself, then like great. But like there's no real competition in a way. So I started out in middle school, and I don't even know if this is correct to say or not, but my nickname was White Lightning.
Nice. That's fine.
And
That's
I
awesome.
was like,
Hey, listen,
and it
if Danny Dimes can get Vanilla Vic, you can get White Lightning, okay? That's all right.
and it was just like I got along with everyone really well. I ran the 100 4x1, and my end of like the 7th grade, I did a few 4x4s, which were the worst ever.
I didn't even know this, Brian, to be honest.
Really?
No.
Yeah, because I wasn't like the fast kid, but like I was up there with them, and it was just like that. And then some like I guess I don't know. This is kind of like a collective thing of day to day. Even now, it just like sometimes carrying a 14-foot pole, you hit a lot of stuff and you hit a lot of people. And sometimes like using it to your advantage actually works. Like I remember one meet this is the only meet I ever went to the armory and I never want to go back there again. But trying to like get up the steps because like a spiral staircase to get up there.
Oh yeah.
So I had my one friend David, and he was in the back. So I was like, I can't do this myself. And we're literally just taking up the whole entire stairway, and I'm like yelling at people to move, and they're just like ducking and like.
You're like every other pole vaulter that's ever brought poles into the armory. It's like it's not new if you go there. Like everyone's experienced that, and especially if you plan on. I'm sorry if you plan on pole vaulting in college. You're gonna be there a lot.
Oh yeah. And it was just like feeling like on my shoulder just thuds of people and just hearing and be like. Or whatever, or like trying to walk through doorways as quick as you can if you're opening it by yourself. Or just like even just showing up to a meet and like even just my general appearance of like the beard and the long hair, just like everybody turns their head and they're like, oh, that's the bearded pole vaulter and whatever.
There's the Manchester bearded guy.
So what's up with also are you also the cowboy boot pole vaulter we've also heard? So is that something that here's the thing. To me, if you're gonna rock cowboy boots, it's kind of like wearing shades in a meet, right? Like you better
be good.
Go up. Like, and you're to you, you're good. But it's like Joey knows what I'm talking about. There's those kids running the floor, throw the shades, and all of a sudden they drop like a 60. And it's like, wait, excuse me?
Yeah.
Shades for, dude. Like,
take them off.
Exactly.
So I remember.
Go ahead, Brian.
I remember one meet. I don't even remember. I think it was at like Point Burrow, and it was just like a dual meet, something simple. And I remember I forgot my sneakers that day. So I did my warm-up laps and my whole warm-up in my cowboy boots.
That's awesome.
So, Brian, I got to ask you, apparently you have an interesting place to hang the medals in your room.
Yes, I do. So I have a few of my taxidermy deer heads and stuff. So I hang them on the antlers, and then I just have like the regular caps. So just like the bone part, hang them on those antlers. But yeah, I get it.
That's a talking in ovals first there.
It's funny though. It's like
medals on deer heads.
To us in like the Northeast, that might be different. But I feel like if you go down south or like Midwest, where hunting culture, you're like, who
doesn't hang them on there?
Is like, yeah, you serious? That's my grandfather's, deer. I put it on there. Like for us, we're all just like, hunting, I guess, and whiting. But it's like everywhere else, it's like most of Middle America is like, you guys don't hang your medals on your deer heads. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it just takes up wall space, so why not just hang it somewhere that's already like hangable?
So here's a question: are you bringing the deer head to college to hang your medals from there? Are you going to keep this tradition alive?
I might have to.
You may have to talk to your freshman year roommate first. You can bring a taxidermy deer head.
Yeah.
Go to Bama or
funny thing is,
Roll
the funny
Tide.
thing is that both of them, because I have like where my bed is, there's the one on this wall and the one on this wall. The one thing when I had them done, none of them could face me. So they're both looking at each other away from me because it's just like the one Looney Tunes Halloween episode when the noose comes out of the moose's mouth and the eyes in it, like that still gets me because there's one in my garage and it sits and it looks right at my workbench. And sometimes like when it's late and I'm working late and I just look back and it's just like looking right at me. I'm like, yeah, no, this can't happen.
Do you ever look at it and just mouth like, I'm sorry? Like it was my fault.
Nah, it's not even sorry. It's more just like, don't come alive and come out of the wall and like attack me.
So how about let's make a new rule. You can't hang. So when you go to college and you're pole vaulting and stuff, you have to kill a deer wherever you are. And get that taxidermy there in order to earn the right in your off-campus house to put it up there and hang them.
Yeah. No, that was like Coach Rash always said that to me. He was like, if I went to like Georgian Court or whatever with all the deer that are always in the fields, because not that I threw jab a lot, but I like kind of did a little bit as well. He was like, yeah, if you just throw a jab in a deer, like there you go. And then just that'd be cool to mount a jab sticking through the deer.
That's amazing. So, Joey, I'm throwing you the same question. Going back to, you can even go back to Thomas River North when you were running, over at Intermediate North and stuff like that. what are some of your best memories from, running and stuff like that?
Um, I mean, there's a ton, definitely. I think one that honestly sticks out to me most was last year in the outdoor state championship meet. It was I think the second race. It was the 800, and Will Freeman was in the very, very back. And then I think you guys saw it, but he just comes out and then I don't know, in the video it does show it. Our whole section where we were just going absolutely crazy. That was but one of my other biggest memories was probably it was my first 400 hurdle race my freshman year, and we're lining up. It's just a dual meet, but we're lining up, and the gun goes off twice, and I'm like, oh my god. But it was my other teammate who his name is Josh, and he taught me how to hurdle kind of. I give him so much.
I remember this.
But he literally false started, and it's my first race. Like that's my right hand man. I was just so scared it made it worse. And then little do you know, I come out and I win it. So that definitely was a time when it set a spark too.
Love it.
So Dave, I have to ask you. I got to ask this question of him, Dave. Joey, when you're going to run an 800, if you can run a good 400 intermediate, you can run a fast 800.
Slow down there.
The same training, if to run a good and I always said this to my friends in college that did it. I'm like, you guys can run sub 2. They're like, probably we don't want to. Like we have no need to. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, I never even wanted to go up to the 400,
Right.
But that happened. So I don't think I would go fast, to be honest.
Jeff never let me run a 400 hurdles. I wanted to, and he was always like, "No, you're stupid. You'll fall." And I was like, "Come on, Jeff."
Joe, tell the people out there what is the biggest difference between the 55 hurdles and the 110 hurdles, minus besides it being double the length. Like, is there that much difference in the actual race, or do you kind of attack it the same way?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a little difference. Like I attack it going at the same way, but then like when it's past that fifth hurdle, then it's all about like you gotta keep on holding that form and that technique, that same technique through all the rest of the hurdles. And I mean, it definitely gets tiring. So I mean, but that's the biggest difference is just holding that form for the next round, basically.
And what do you feel like? Do you have one of those two races that you like better?
Out of the 110s and 55 hurdles?
Yeah.
I like them both, but I would say I like the 55 hurdles.
55. Short and sweet, get it done.
Do you develop a certain number of scar tissue on your follow-through leg from just clipping the hurdle? Like, is it getting numb at this point? Like, do you even feel it?
I have so many, like, just stupid scars all over my legs from it. My ankle is definitely banged up, though, from it. The inside of my trail leg ankle.
Yeah, like I always.
But it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
I always see like people clipping hurdles and then like they're still jogging after. I'm like, I'd be on the ground like that. Yeah. I've moved hurdles before. Those things hurt. They don't move very well.
You won't feel it until like an hour later.
Right. Because you have so much adrenaline.
Yeah.
And then you have grip looking at you going, all right, you ready for your double 4x1? Let's go. Like, and you're like, my ankle's killing me, man.
It's better than clipping a steeple barrier. That's for sure.
Yeah, I could only imagine. So, Brian, are we going to see you in any 4x1s with your 100 background in middle school?
Come on, White Lightning.
Hey, the spot's open.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing one. I'd prefer if they put me in like the third leg, maybe, because I do like that last turn. But the hardest thing is, and I found this out my sophomore year when I still kind of ran a little bit in spring, was trying to balance between when they would when I would come in for pole vaulting to when they would have the races.
Yeah.
Because it is still a 100, but you're using your whole effort in that 100. So when you try to come back and then still have your steps and everything the right way for pole vault, that messes with it a lot.
Right.
Because I've had friends from he was from what school was it? I think it was Point Borough. His name was Jay, and he did the 200, and he was he jumped, he was in, and we had to wait. He ran his 2, came back, and he couldn't clear another height after it, and it was every time it was like that. So he talked to his coach, and he was like, I can't do a 200 anymore if you want me to do this.
So
makes sense.
To Griff and Chef, he was interested, but just talked himself out of wanting to run the 4x100.
But to Joey and everyone else in the 4x1, go get some white lightning warm-ups ready and have all three of you wear them and have one ready for him so he can't say no. Because how's he going to say no if the whole team is dedicated to white lightning?
I mean, yeah, at that point.
At that point, he won't even feel it. He'll just have the adrenaline taking him through that one because he'll be like Team White Lightning. And maybe have Griff have you guys run on attached, and that could be your actual team name. Like, I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Griff, if you're listening, please do it. Griff is listening to this right now. He's going, Alex, shut
have like on the shoulder,
ideas.
have like a little WL with the lightning bolt going through it.
Griff
You're the
is,
only one allowed to have like a different uniform. Only one is allowed to have it, so you can actually have that.
That's against rules. You got to all have the same. But
no, only
Griff
one can have different. One can have something a little different.
No, they all got to be the same.
They changed it now
for a relay race. They all got to be the same.
I thought one was allowed to have a little bit off.
So Griff is going to be listening and be like, Alex, just stop talking.
Yeah, absolutely. But he knows I don't. So there's also that. That's why we have a podcast. I don't freaking stop talking. But so, Joey, I want to jump back to you. You're not only a fantastic hurdler and track athlete, you're also easily one of the conference's best soccer players and one of the state's best soccer players. What has it been like trying to, because, when you're good at, running and soccer and a lot of sports, they're both year round, especially to be someone, as a hurdler, like you're not just a sprinter, you're also a hurdler. So you have to try and keep that form up. You have indoor and outdoor to do. You do fall soccer. There's indoor soccer. What has it been like balancing both? And has that been like difficult? Does that like weigh you down along with schoolwork and everything?
Yeah. I mean, I did kind of like start a little bit like in middle school. Like I was going back and forth sometimes, but it was nothing crazy. And then I will say, like, when I started to get better at track, then it did become a little more difficult and a lot of work, but I kind of got, like, used to it and worked into it. But, I mean, yeah, I haven't missed anything from doing both sports, I'll say that. But it definitely has a toll on my legs.
So are you at the point now where when you're thinking about the next step that you have to choose one, or are you going to be able to kind of do both at the next level?
As of now, I'm probably going to stick to one, but it could change. I'm probably going to do soccer in college.
Okay.
Because that's what I grew up playing.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
You got to go where your passion is.
Absolutely. Listen,
I mean, the track world will absolutely miss you because you have a great future, but if that is the choice that you make, you have given your high school and your teammates everything that they possibly could have ever asked for. So you have zero regrets and move on and do what you feel is best for yourself.
Yeah, neither of us are going to knock you for that.
Yeah, where I'm going, well, if I go, like, I probably could do track if I decided and I missed it, then I could go back and do track there, but I'm probably going to stay for one for now.
Good. Hey, listen, that's fine. And you know what? It's not, in college, again, like you said, if you miss it, you could always jump back in, but get your bearings with one because I don't care. I don't know which level you're going, D3, D2, D1, whatever. It's a job when you get to the next level. There's morning workouts, there's lifts, there's all sorts of things to do. So, definitely get your bearings there. But I mean, so in a weird way, does it make it a little bit easier in the track sense to just kind of leave it all out there because you're not worried about, having to do something great for the next level, like having to put something on film, having to get this time? Does it make it a little bit easier to kind of just be like, I'm going to go do whatever I can here in track and just leave it out there?
I mean, possibly. I would say that's a little bit of my like mentality. Like, I'm just like, that's kind of with everything I do as far as sports. Like, I'm going to just give it my all and see what I can do. But yeah, so
I want to talk to you guys. You both have pretty high seeds going into Meet of Champs on Sunday. We'll start with you, Brian. What are your expectations? There's some guys out there who have gone, pretty high. So, are you thinking going in that you can win? Are you looking to get a certain height? Like, what is your mind frame going into this Meet of Champs on Sunday?
Well, ever since freshman year, my goal always was to break the school record for indoor and outdoor. So I completed that goal for indoor at least. So in like a very low ball way of looking at Meet of Champs, I'm not really too worried on what happens. but like there's always the chance because like even at groups, the one kid that jumps like 15.7, 15 pretty
Yep, I was there.
consistently didn't clear 14, and that's like another like little thing of pole vault is like it can be very mental for many people. And when he saw me clear 14 on my second and I got off the mat and I could just look back at him on the runway with his hands over his face and he was just like completely beat, and it was his third attempt and he knocked it off. And it was just like sometimes like either watching people or even just like looking at the seeds before the meet, like all that can mess with it. So with me looking at the meet of champs for Sunday, I don't know. I'm just probably just going to give it my best. And it's like Ocean Breeze fast track and just go for it.
Hey, listen, man, go and have fun because that is an event, unlike a lot of times races on the track where you never know in the vault. You just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's happened. You know, I remember you guys are young, but the Dave and Dan Olympics, this big thing for the decathlon, the one guy didn't even make it out of U.S. trials because he no-highted in the vault. So, you know, it's an event where you don't know. So, Joe, how about you? You're going in second seed in the hurdles. You got one guy out there, you know, who's been running great times as you have too. What's your mind frame going into this meet? And do you go thinking I'm going to go win, or you just like, let's just see what happens? Like, how do you prepare?
I mean, first off, I'm going to worry about just being myself and just keep on racing. We'll worry about myself mainly. And that's from Griff. Like, he also tells me that consistently. Just go out and be yourself. But, I mean, yeah, I am definitely, why not? I'm going to go try and win.
Hell yeah.
I would be very happy if I could just get down to that 7.3 range. I would be very happy with that. But maybe even the 10th down to 7.2 possibly.
Hell yeah.
So what do you guys notice? How much of a difference do you feel this meet being at Ocean Breeze over the bubble? Do you feel that like, is it that much faster? Do you guys feel like, is it just, I mean, it's a real cool atmosphere. Everyone's there.
Ocean Breeze is nice.
It's made for a track. It's a track only place. So do you guys enjoy going there, or do you like think, you know, like, well, we have to travel further, or is it something that you like, that you're grateful that it is there?
I'll go first because me being the little city mouse or country mouse I am, driving up there on the bus, driving really close to cars and the parkway and everything, I just kind of keep my head down. So the drive for me definitely is not fun. and then getting out as cars are zooming by with giant poles sticking out in the middle of the street, wondering if one's not going to stop or if it's a little too low and some car's just going to hit me and it's just going to throw me off the side. Ocean Breeze's mat definitely is a lot different than all the other mats, like even outdoor or anywhere else, because they have extra pieces in the front for safety.
Yep.
So the perception of looking at where the box is, even though I shouldn't be looking at where the box is.
No, you should not. Head up.
And
Jeff, yell at him.
Yeah. And so that messes with a lot of people. But I definitely think I don't know. The few meets I've been there, like I remember, oh God, I don't even know if it was my junior or sophomore year. I PR'd by 2 feet there. Wow. In one meet. I went from 11 to 13.
So you're saying you're going to go 16 feet on a Sunday?
I mean, it could happen, but I think
you
it's
better bring those big boy
track.
poles in.
Yeah, I think it's faster, and it kind of messes with me. But like once I figure out the rhythm, because like some meets I've been there where I know my 6 steps at like 78 at the bubble, where I've been at Ocean Breeze, and my 6 step can move back to like anywhere to like 85.
Right.
And I'll still be on just because it's faster.
Right. Which is interesting because neither one of you guys are really running any of the events that incorporate the actual bank. So you would think that it wouldn't matter that much. But Joe, like, do you notice a difference running there? Like, do you get more pumped because it's you know, it's a nice bank track with a, like, you know, crowd is there.
People actually cheer for you.
Oh yeah. For me, the environment, it's completely different. And like when I'm walking up to the Ocean Breeze rather than the bubble, like I'm thinking, all right, it's a big event. Like we gotta lock in. And I definitely think it's faster, but yeah,
Well, I mean, one, you can wear, I mean, you can use blocks in any heat, right? It's not
yeah,
just reserved for the finals, which I think is crazy, but that's a whole other thing. But
yeah,
all right, yeah, because I've never been there, but I've heard really
I love Ocean.
wonderful things, and I think that that's one of the smart things that NJSA has actually done is moving it there because it can have more fanfare. It's a faster track. It has all the every race. There's a huge scoreboard where everyone can see like everyone's times almost instantly. It's a really a track friendly, track only place. So
yeah. All those little things I think play a big role in it, and like changing the environment rather than the bubble.
right, because you go to the same place over and over again. It's always nice to kind of go elsewhere.
It's just
Cool.
unfortunate it's on Staten Island. Any other place,
I
but
just wish that New Jersey had a. I mean, the bubble is great for what it is. When it first came
we
here,
say
it
it all
was
the time,
it was
yep.
a game changer. But New Jersey needs a indoor track only bank track with
Oh yeah.
where you can go to a meet and you can long jump and you can triple jump and you can have everything there where you can't at the bubble because when they designed it, they put the runway right through the track, so you just can't do it.
yeah, no, it's always interesting. So I have to ask both of you. I mentioned it earlier. Sectionals. You guys brought it home for a third year in a row this year. Now, last year, I feel like there was an expectation, right? Like Manchester was coming in.
Yeah, Will, you had
Manchester
Nick,
was the big dogs. You had, everywhere you had everything. Like you had good sprinters, good middle distance, good long distance, jumps, pole vault, obviously. Like there was expectation to score every which way, right?
Hmm.
This year, a little bit different. You lost some firepower. And you guys were kind of on the outside looking in terms of going into the meet. You guys being two of the senior leaders, what was that like coming into there? Was there kind of a chip on your shoulder? Like, screw this.
we are the defending
Still
champs.
the dogs of this house. Like, what was that like? Joey, I'm going to start with you. What was that like? And were you more of a vocal leader in terms of like, let's get this done? Or were you kind of like, let's just, handle our business quietly?
I would say like I kind of set by example, but like I also like said some stuff when I needed to, but nothing crazy. But I mainly just like set it by example. But also like we definitely, me personally, I had a little chip on my shoulder, like if not for the team, at least for me, but also for the team. But I was just I was thinking, and then Griff, it was crazy when Griff was like, because I was projected maybe like fourth in the dash, and then he was like, "You can win this, go." So then when I did, like it was a great moment.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, just you guys get the team 28 points. Just as you guys are, running your events as individuals. So explain this 4x4. I mean, there was a lot of drama going on in the state sectional 4x4. Kind of walk us through that Joe, and like what was the reaction? Like it had to go from like euphoria to oh my God, this is terrible to yeah, we got it. So just kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, when I did like that, when I did drop it, I just stood there for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, I sold the meat. Like we lost. It's everything. But then my teammate just picked us up and he was like, "Here, go!" And I just started going. But that was a bad moment, to be honest. I was upset with myself for like a good hour after.
But you got up and you finished. You didn't sulk.
Yeah.
You said, my team needs me, and that's what true leaders do. And you guys won. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, that was amazing. But you guys were so close to winning groups too. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It
I
was
was
like a point or two.
like I was there, and I was like, oh my, like they're right there, And then and then I'm like, holy cow! Like Brian just kind of got eight points, which was not expected. Like going.
No, I think I was set for like fifth or sixth
Right.
for that meet.
And you got second. So like you guys are right in it. So I mean, to lose what you guys lost last year and to come back and to win 3 in a row, it's a testament to you guys as senior leaders. It's a testament to all your coaches, all the athletes. I mean, who would have thought that at state sectionals you'd have 3 kids score in the shot put?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So,
Like it's a team effort all the way around. And you needed
Absolutely.
every one of those points. I mean, it was just, I mean, Alex and I were always watching on mouse. Like, hey, did you see this? You know, see that? Because, you know, we follow you guys and we're fans of the school. And, you know, so it was just to win 3 in a row is not easy. That, you know, very few schools have done it. And usually these schools that have done it multiple times. So to get someone else in there, it was awesome. And an Ocean County school, just fantastic.
And what's crazy is how many times Manchester has done it now under Griff. That, you know, winning state sectionals in indoor, is it like it was back, you know, last time we did it before you guys started like with Griff running them off like they're easy dual meets. It was like, I think it was back in like 02 or 03 was like the other one. And that's when like my sister was still in high school and I was like in middle school and stuff. So it's awesome to see. So Brian, from your perspective, from the field people, what was your like expectations from you guys in like the field area, like jumping and throwing and stuff? Like the shot putters did, like that was huge. What the shot
they did. They did big
with,
too.
you know, and you and Joey going in where, you know, you guys were expected to place high, you know, go and win your events, at least, you know, place high, do some good stuff, right? How big was it? Like, were you there to watch it? Because I know a lot of the field guys, you like to stick together a good amount to try and like.
Unfortunately, at the bubble, they do the shot
they do it in the gym.
In the gym, so it's not even in the same area.
I forgot about that.
You have to go inside, so it's very hard to know what is going on in that moment. You know, I mean, it's easier now because everyone has a phone and they could text, but you know, like that's something that like you guys don't even notice that it's even going on.
So I guess I'll reframe that. So Brian, from a field guy's perspective, was there a certain amount of pride there, knowing that this wasn't all done on the track, that, you know, we really had to come through in order to help anchor this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like even just to touch on the shot put and stuff, like I know years prior, like they were good, but like it was never really a high scoring area. And it was always like the track that picked up for it. And that was like our one joke, with a few of the seniors that graduated from Toms River South that pole vaulted, was like they would always joke and call it Toms River Field and not Toms River Track or Toms River South Track, because they were like normally the field for them would always pick up all the points.
Don't offend Dave there. Dave was during the heyday of their track time. He was there in
I am a Toms River South alum, and we were very good at running at that point.
Like that was like 83 years ago though.
Yes. 86.
But me personally at sectionals, that was an emotional roller coaster. I'll be honest, it was the first meet I ever like broke tears and cried at.
Nice.
And it was like and they weren't even good tears at first. It was the whole week before I was just running through, couldn't even like jump off the ground from like a 2-step or a 4-step or anything. Wow. And it was time for warm-ups, and I was just like, I had one good practice like a few days before, and I was like, I think I'll be okay. And warm-ups happened, did not take a single jump during the 45-minute warm-ups. I was like, all right, I'm still going to come in at 12. Did not take a single jump off the ground for my run-throughs. And then it was my turn to go up, and it was just like, up until I got to 13.6, everything was on my third attempt.
Wow.
And it was just like, it was just not going well. Like I was between like trying to wipe tears out of my eyes so I actually see where I was going, to like trying to blow my nose so I could breathe. And from that point, I think I was down and like tied for 6th. And 13.6 came around, and I was just like, I'm just going to go to my 6th step, and I'm just going to run, and I'm just going to go. And I cleared it on my first attempt, and that jump bumped me all the way from 6th place to 2nd place.
Yeah, and if people don't know, you want to clear on the earlier attempts.
Yeah, because then like and even talking with all the refs that I know pretty well now, even being with there for like 4 years now, and they've said to me before that I am like the only athlete that they've ever reffed that has had more than one jump off. And like having an actual tie, and it's hard to do in pole vault, and because then it goes down to misses, and then it comes down to how many jumps you've made. And I've been in 2 jump offs that I lost both of them, but like still, it could be just one jump away from being in first or being in last.
Yeah, listen, there is nothing better than you having the exact same jumps as someone else, everything cleared, same attempt, and then you look back like, oh, he came in at 11.6, I came in at 12.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk about, because again, I had Chef as my coach for a long time in distance. Did your relationship with Chef help to get you through something like this? Because one thing I know about Tom Scheffler, like Dave said, he works his ass off to find out about the technical things. But man, in all my years, I've never had as good of a motivator as that man. I will sit there and he could motivate me to go and like fight a cage that has a gorilla, a bear, and a lion in it and think I could come out on top. Like that motivation. So what was
Brian actually might come out on top.
He might. He does looks like all of them combined. But what was the importance of having somebody like Chef there through these tough moments? Because from what I know about Chef, he knows exactly when to push and when to pull. He knows when to come in and say something and when to just back off and let you do your thing as an athlete. So how important was Chef there during that meet?
So I've like known Chef since my sister played tennis.
Yep, he was a tennis coach. Yep,
in college. Yeah, so I've known Chef since I was probably like 9 or 10. And so like once I finally started doing track with him, it was just like the relationship was like always there from the beginning.
Yeah.
But like recently with him, and especially this year with just me being the only jumper, besides like a few of the other girls, and it's just like he knows me more than I know myself sometimes.
As you get older, Chef gets more grumpy. He gets less grumpy, right? He gets less grumpy with you. As a freshman, he's kind of like, get away from me. And then as a senior, he becomes like he's less grumpy when he's like, oh, you're about to leave. I can be nicer to you now.
No, yeah, but he's always a big teddy bear. Like
absolutely.
Don't let anybody know that. Don't do that. Don't blow the man's cover.
But
you couldn't have said that on the podcast.
But there's like so many people that are just like so like intimidated by him and think that he's like such like a pusher to like go do stuff and whatever. But like he always means well with whatever he says.
100%.
Just like he just knows exactly like how to word things, and it just like makes sense. And it just like at the end of the day, like at end of every meet, I just know that he's never going to be like disappointed as long as I like try my best. And it's like for him, he's always like made me believe in myself more than I believed in myself. And I think that helped a lot in like in any meet that I've been in. And it just like, he's just always there.
He's one of the most underrated coaches in New Jersey track and field. He's been for so long, and he's one of the most underrated coaches there.
Coaching with them was an absolute pleasure. I mean, I learned so much about so many things. I always knew about the actual sport of track, but you really learn how to create relationships and a rapport with your athletes, and to bring all the athletes together to make an actual team is not an easy task. It's a lot easier, I feel, to coach individual athletes than it is to incorporate everyone into a single focusing team. And like to have kids say, listen, I'm going to run that extra event because we might win as a team. Not all coaches can get to that level with their athletes. Like there's a lot of athletes who are like, I'm not running 4x4. I don't care. But with those guys, you want to do what you can to help the team.
No, absolutely. I know some teams that are just like you said with the 4x4, they'll just leave without even telling their coach. Like, I'm not running it. But like with Manchester and Griff and Chef, like if they tell you to do something, you're gonna want to do it your best.
Right, and you want to because you see all the time and effort that they put into you guys. Like people don't realize. I think that these coaches that are spending all this time, they have families, they have lives, and they have things, but they sacrifice that to give you guys the best chance to win and to compete and to even go on to that next level. I mean, they have a lot of kids who go on and do great things in college, and that's a testament to how they run their program. And kids who go out for the team usually don't do it for all 4 years because it's it's a bond and it's a fun and it's a great experience, and you are winning and you build friendships that you'll have for your whole life.
So fun fact
Absolutely.
about me in high school and the chef and a few of my friends, none of us are musically inclined, but we wanted to make a band named Scheffler Rolls Deep because that just sounds like a great name. So anybody that's musically inclined, make a band named Scheffler Rolls Deep. I guarantee it'll be great. That's my contribution. My last one is chef. So last thing I want to do before we ask you our $1 million questions, but Brian, I do want to talk a little bit more about the pole vault because it is, again, it's a tough event. Do you watch any YouTubes? Do you watch Armando Duplantis, who me
Oh,
and
constantly.
freaking rave about? Because the fact that that man is not included in Athlete of the Year ever, like at the ESPYs, they forget he exists. Like the
Yeah.
guy just resets every record. And someone like an American, like Chris Nilsson, who, if Armando Duplantis doesn't exist, Chris Nilsson's one of the best pole vaulters of our
Oh, yeah.
generation. Are you constantly watching them and trying to take little tidbits about what they do?
So as a like kind of like a funny fact that I've learned and like learned from Chef as well is trying to compare like pole vault specifically, trying to compare like a high school athlete to those Olympic athletes. It's like almost two completely different events, even though it isn't.
They're
It's
two different
almost like,
sports. Yeah.
yeah, because it's just like the way that a Olympic athlete or even like a college athlete is able to train for their events for the event is so much different than like high school. Like most of like the Olympic athletes and high college athletes only do their like full approach maybe 2 or 3 times like a season before their actual meet comes.
Yeah.
Where like I'll be doing it maybe like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's just like the training is definitely different, but and everybody's different, and that's also what I love about pole vault is like watching, especially the higher up people, like watching how their technique all differs, even though they're accomplishing the same goal. Where it's like running is you just run, where pole
Stop
vault
it.
there's
Relax.
I'll let it slide.
but it's like pole vault is like, and another thing, like just to completely throw in there is like watching a right-handed pole vaulter to a left-handed pole vaulter, it completely like messes with your brain of just the way they turn and everything. But it's like, it's really specific to each individual. And like I've been told, because I go to like coach out of school and stuff, like I've been told by them, I've been even told by like other athletes that I jump with, they're like, when you jump, you're very technical about each thing. And you can definitely tell like who's the kids that are like muscling over to get over the bar, or who's just very fluent with it and who's technical. And just even me knowing myself, I am a very technical person that likes to do things orderly and fluently. And I think that's helped me progress my like form and everything a lot better too.
So Joe, similar question. I think so many people think that in the hurdles, if you're just fast, you'll be fine. But I mean, can we kind of dispel that and say it's more form than it is actual speed? Because like, it's about having your legs off the ground as short a time as possible. You know, you don't want to float over the hurdle. You want to attack it. So how much do you attribute to form? Because when I watch you hurdle, it's pretty darn flawless. Like you really snap that trail leg through and you get everything down and go again. How much more important do you think it is for technique than a person who's just really, really fast?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll get away with it in like the 4 hurdles, but when it comes to the short hurdles, like 110s or the 55, if someone has better form and is a little bit slower, then he's probably honestly going to get you. So it definitely plays a huge role.
Right.
Form, having great form, yeah.
I mean, speed always matters. It's important, but you know, it's one of those events. And you're right, 400 hurdles. You know, because what is it, 13, 17 steps? You know, in between. So it's, and you know, if you can figure out how to go over the hurdle with both legs, 400 hurdles, obviously that helps. But it's such you guys are both in very two technical events, and if you have any lapse in your technicality at all, you're off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because like anytime I train or am getting ready for a meet for hurdles, I do the same thing. Simple stuff for my trail leg and simple stuff for my lead leg, and then I just go over them. But at training, it's constantly just perfecting my trail leg and perfecting the lead leg. So it's always about form to like
Yeah.
and the other stuff.
It's all about having that rope memory. So when you're at the meet, you don't have to think about it. You can just go and actually compete because you've put in all the work in practice every single day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to me, it seems like, the 110s and 55s are almost a different event from the 400 hurdles. Like, obviously, the barriers are in your way, but that's a pain threshold thing with the 400. Once you get past hurdle 7, it's like, all right, am I going to die? Like, what? Like, do I need to keep going?
It's always hurdle 7, too. It's always hurdle 7.
You can always see it. Everyone's going so strong. Like, they run fast through the 2 and then hurdle 7. And it's like, you got
Form
3 more, brother. You got 3 more. Don't stop now. Like,
form is gone after that. But I mean,
Exactly.
but kind of what Joe was saying, form is not as important. 400 hurdles, you can get away a lot more with speed there because one, the hurdles are so much lower that you can almost kind of like step over them, so they are completely two different events, but it's just, it's just good to know that, like your focus is on form and you realize how important it is to do everything technically right. And that will go very, very far.
Yeah.
So last thing, Brian, with pole vaulting, we talked to Jordan Geis last week, shot putter, and we asked him kind of about the camaraderie of the shot putters and throwers. And he was like, yeah, we're kind of in the corner. We're all friends type of deal. Like, we're competing. Some people stick out, but for the most part, we're all friends. When it comes to the pole vault, are you guys so locked in on that technique that you don't have time, or do you make friendships because you're kind of standing there waiting and like, instead of just looking awkwardly at each other, it's just kind of like, hi. Like you kind of get that camaraderie from seeing each other time and stuff too.
That is one thing, like, I definitely would say about like all the field events is, especially if you're like specific to one event, is you start seeing familiar faces, you start knowing like younger classmen from other schools, and then you become friends with them. Like, I'm friends with all the kids from like Toms River South, and I've been friends with Toms River South since my freshman year. And
it's a great school.
It's just like we're all I don't know. It's just we're all just the weird kids that throw ourselves in the air with a pole. So it's all like we all have the same goal, and we're like the one meet. I think it was just like some little winter meet or just something simple, and the kids from Toms River South were there, and the one kid like PR'd a little bit, and like for me, seeing him, like knowing him since when he started to where he is now. Like me, that made me more happy than even what I did that day. Even though I won, I was more happy seeing him improve for himself and getting that PR for himself. So I definitely think that we are like our own little specialized weird kids that pole vault. But I think it's like a good way, because then it's like when everybody else comes over and they're like watching and whatever, especially like later in the meets when the bar starts getting higher and higher, it like draws more attention to people. So I think it's like everybody watches, but we're the ones that know what's going on.
I gotta say, it's the polar opposite for me.
Oh yeah, sprinters are the meanest. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, distance runners are kind of like simpatico in a way, because it's like, yeah, we're all gonna hurt a lot at the end or whatever. And I have to say, forget what school it was, but when I was running a 5K and I was winning the race, I took the wrong turn. It was a bunch of kids from another team that were in like the next race. They were like, "What? Stop!" Like, and I had to like burst through. But it's like, yeah, when I went down to be a sprinter more in college in the 400, I was like, wow, we all kind of hate each other. Like, is it similar with like, do you guys just kind of like not talk to each other and just want to kill each other the whole time?
I mean, like I have some friends like from other schools, and like some kids do come up to me now, but for the most part, even when I'm talking to them, I'm like just still locked into my head. I'm just like, I'm dusting you in a race.
Nice. I love it. And Brian, like I think pole vault is different in a sense because most of the higher level kids, like you mentioned earlier, go to like different camps and the clubs.
Yeah.
So you might see a lot of those kids there that you compete against, where runners mostly just kind of stick with who their high school coaches, in a sense.
Because I've definitely made a lot more friends with my out of school club. And then it's like when they're like, hey, when do you have your meet, or when do you have your meet? And they're like, oh, I'll see you there. So it's like kind of cool that it's like having a big expansion of where people are from. Like one of my friends that goes to club is from Cinnaminson. And it's like, I don't think if we ever did that club or in general, we would ever know each other. And like, we're super close.
Yeah,
Only get accepted into the pole vault community when you join club, not when you're doing a high school. You join club and you get the one of us treatment.
so
My bad.
no,
Joe.
Joe, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna also touch up on like the friends part. I didn't want to make it sound like I don't, because there definitely was some friendly rivalries, especially last year with the kid from North, Jacob Kyler, who ran hurdles. Like we would talk to each other before the race, and then we would just have to race each other in almost every single event.
Yeah.
So,
Listen, there is nothing wrong with that. When I was in high school,
when you're like getting ready for like check-in, it's nothing wrong with like saying what's up. But once like you just get the spikes on, even me, like when I was in the 800, the mile, like 2 mile, once the spikes came on, we started doing warm-ups. Maybe it was like a quick like good luck. Outside of that, it was like once that toe hit the line, it's like I would as quick elbow you in the chest as I would like, I'm ready to win. I'm
yeah.
like,
now listen, we were not allowed to talk to any of the other teams when I was in high school. My coach was like, "No, you talk to your own teammates." But I don't know if that is the best
I don't think it's possible anymore with
in 2024. But that like we didn't have social media. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have not everything was.
You were chiseling things on granite.
No, not that old. But so I want to ask you guys because do you guys at all watch college or pro track when it's on TV at all? And if so, how much of a pain is it to try to find these meets? Because they're always behind some kind of paywall on Peacock or some of that. But do you guys will you guys be following this weekend the World Championships, or do you just kind of worry like you're not really into the pro scene?
So Joe, you can go first with this one.
I would say definitely, yeah, I do, but I don't try to spend money, so I'm the type of guy that's gonna wait maybe a day or two and go find the YouTube videos for them.
Yep. And that's the problem that we have with this sport.
But I definitely do enjoy like watching the pros and all the big college races. That it's very enjoyable to watch.
Yes, it is. So Brian, do you ever watch like Mondo do plant this go like 20 feet like over like a bus?
I mean, I'll like the same thing. I'll kind of like if stuff comes out on YouTube, I'll watch it. I'm sure if I could like find like a network or something that like definitely solely broadcast it. Like when the Olympics come on, I'll definitely like DVR whenever
NBC,
they do pole vault. And so I'll definitely watch that. But it's more just like, for me, it's kind of like a confidence booster when I watch like them, because it's like that's what I could be.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know.
So it's motivation.
I feel like I could watch it more than I do, but at the same time, it's not like oh, let me go see what this college did this weekend or that college. Yeah. Like I'm not really like I've never been like a big sports watcher kind of guy.
So if there was like a league or a circuit like Michael Johnson's league, would you guys be interested in kind of like
on regular TV
in on that, like on something like that?
His whole thing is he wants to put it on TV that everybody can watch it rather than behind some paywall on Flow Track or Peacock or Runner Space. Like that's the problem we're having. Track is you might want to watch a meet, but good luck finding it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have a little connection actually in college right now, so if I'm looking for something specific, he'll just do his research. Nick Lafredo.
I know Nick. Yeah.
So he's my
Boston College's finest.
Don't be ratting out Nick on doing things. but yeah, no, it's it is mind-boggling. And even at the college level, like there's some like legendary tri-meets that go on and things like that. And like there's some huge Big Ten meets. And we have a Big Ten network. There's an ACC network. Like there could be big things going on there.
Shout out to the Rutgers women getting 7th in the Big Ten, their highest performance ever. And Alex Carlson winning the mile and the 3,000. And now their pole vaulter there, Chloe Timberg. I'm not sure if it was the NCAA record, but she went 14:11.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
he is a beast.
That's
So,
crazy, actually.
shout out to, Rutgers. There's two Manchester athletes on this show that could be getting some full scholarships there. Just, keep your eyes out there. Maybe we could sway Joey away from soccer with the full ride to a Big Ten school,
I'm going to let Joey do what Joey wants.
But no,
I'm not against the full ride to a Big Ten.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. He's not
I am a Rutgers grad, so
he's a Rutgers grad. Yep.
And I competed against their head coach in high school because he went to Tom's River East. Great guy.
We had Coach Farrell on the show, and he was awesome.
Bob Farrell's great.
Did you enjoy the Rutgers there?
I did. Yes, it was cool. It was I drove through there about a year ago, and it's way different now. I mean, this is back in the late '90s, so it's it's even nicer now. But yeah, it's great. And it was.
If you guys go back and listen to like our earlier episodes where we had like a string of like coaches and stuff like that, they're all Dave's former roommates and stuff over at Rutgers, and now they're all fantastic coaches around the state. So, and they ran some really fast times. So, but yeah, no, that would be awesome. So before we leave the show, I got to ask you both this last question, and it's a question we ask everyone. Brian, I'm putting you on the spot first. In the world of track and field, now Michael Johnson's trying to do what one of our goals is with getting athletes paid, more exposure and things like that. But if you could change something about this sport that would make it so someone like you has a potential promising career in pole vaulting, right? Because jumping 14 in high school is no small feat. Like that puts you in a pretty good echelon of high school pole vaulters. If you could change something about this sport where you're looking forward and going, you know what? There's a future for me there. I can make money in this. I could do that. What would you change to kind of make more fans come to the sport and make it a more profitable thing?
I think like the biggest thing is probably just availability, because there's like Philly jumps, which for most people in New Jersey is like a decent drive. There's like a few way up north where there's a lot more schools, but like in this general central South Jersey area, there's really only like the one that I go to and maybe like one other one. So I think if the opportunity was there for a lot more people, like I know a lot in the other states, there's a whole bunch of clubs, there's a whole bunch of more like schools that do it. And I also think that a lot of in the other states, like having pole vault in middle school is a great stepping stone for the people to get into high school with it. Because like I think, although I don't know, if I started pole vaulting in middle school, I don't know if I'd have the same appreciation for it that I do now. But I do think I still would. But I just think like having the availability to like have like something set up where people can go, and even if they don't do it at their school, just something that they want to do, I think that would be a lot more beneficial to a lot of people.
I like that. And, and it's funny because we have a lot of runners that come on and talk about like, we need more running in the community. But I guess to someone like you, who's a jumper and a pole vaulter specifically, it's like, no, you guys have running clubs. Like, give me some more jumping clubs. So,
because there's a lot of like equipment that goes along with it. Like you need the mat, you need the runway, you need the box. And like, even if you can like provide poles for people that don't have them, like it's a lot of extra little things that nobody thinks about instead of just like using yourself for your event.
The issue is those mats aren't cheap.
No, they're
poles aren't cheap, and there has to be certain safety precautions. Now I mean it's definitely changed since I was in high school. It's a lot safer now. There's a lot more mats there.
So and
Brian, I'm gonna give Alex, they weren't using bamboo poles when I was in high school.
You might have been. They might be. They're pretty sturdy still, but no, Brian,
Raspberry flop.
I'm gonna give you an idea that we gave Jordan Geis kind of last week. But you want to become TikTok famous? Go set up a mat somewhere and just have people provide you things to pole vault over, and just make it on TikTok and just be like, hey, put something I can get over it, and just go pole vault over a ton of things and throw it on TikTok.
Yeah,
there you go.
I've thrown I remember 2 summers ago, real quick. I did take the poles home over the summer, and I was like home alone one day, and I threw myself into my pool, and that was really fun.
Chef, you didn't hear that, or have you told Chef already? Does he know?
I haven't told him that.
Oh no, Chef's gonna listen to this. So season with him.
Now, have you ever done? I know there's annual every year in Seaside. They have the pole vaulting on the beach.
Yeah, the beach. That is my club that I go to.
That's a cool thing, man. Yeah, that's a cool thing because you're right there. Everybody can watch you from the boardwalk. the sport needs more exposure and things like
Yeah.
that to get people interested, because like it's a shame that like we can name, the last bench player on almost any pro team, but people don't know, who, like Jacob Ingerbritsen is, or
Yeah.
like Grant Holloway. It's a shame that the sport doesn't get the exposure because these athletes are just as good and talented, and they need to get
Right.
paid like every other sport. That's why track loses so many athletes to other sports. If you look in the NFL, a lot of those guys were like right up there winning national titles in high school, like Tyreek Hill, and like they were really really fast. But why would they stay with track when there's no money in it? And that is the
Yeah.
thing that we want to change to get the exposure so these athletes can get paid and they can actually make a living and not have to have another job and be an Olympic athlete.
So,
Yeah.
Joey, I'll throw that question to you. What could you change? What would you change in order to, because obviously, I think you're making a smart career path. If you're a talented enough soccer player to go play, good soccer ball, have a chance at the super draft, you'd be dumb not to, right? Because then there's a millionaire possibility there. In track, you got to be Noah Lyles. You got to be Sydney McLaughlin-Lavoni, like in order to get that opportunity. So what would you change in track and field in order to, again, get the casuals to come watch it, make money for our pros?
That's a very good question, actually. Yeah. But I don't know if I can answer that now, but something that would definitely, I think that would make track and field more interesting, which I think would also gain more viewers and stuff, is like set rivalries. It might sound crazy, but like,
No, you're right.
because some track meets and teams like actually have like beef with other players, and
We hated Central and Mondon, and I know they're Donovan Catholic now. They're Monsignor Donovan.
yeah, I think if we had like a big rivalry meets, I think that would be.
Yeah, I mean we've had people
that's
mention, something like that, like have territories, like have a Northeast team, have a West team.
Wow. That's actually
and like you either get drafted or they could do it where you either went to college or high school in that area. So like Jersey on the women's side or the Northeast would be stacked. But like because track in high school and college is about team and it's about competing, it's about winning, and then when you get pro, that's all gone. Except for every 4 years in the Olympics, when you wear the USA, then then you're for pride. But you lose that sense of team, and people love to root for teams. You see it in pro sports. Players get traded, they retire. People still root because they're on their team. So if you could get some sort of team component, I think that might help because hey, like this kid went to my high school, or hey, I live in the Northeast, and then have it on. I don't care what channel it's on, but something where people can watch it where they don't have to pay for it.
Well, New Balances has that, right? New Balances with Nike, the New Balance. Oh no, Foot Lockers. I mean, Foot Lockers. When they do cross country, you stop representing your school, you stop representing your state. You're on the Northeast team, and we've talked to people that have raced at Foot Lockers, and they're like, "There's a lot of pride in doing that." Yeah, Lily,
I feel, but I think it would be cool if they like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a great idea as well.
And the other one that everyone says is put it on FanDuel or DraftKings and have it open for betting.
Yeah, why not?
I'm with it. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having us.
So, once again, Joey Kurak, Brian Swain, two brand new fresh record holders for Manchester Township High School. Joey in the 55-meter hurdles, Brian in the pole vault, both of them looking to reset their records and go and add to the lore of Manchester track and field this Sunday at Meet of Champions. I wish you both the best of luck, and
Absolutely.
I know that you guys are going to kick some ass on Sunday. You are going to make us proud like you have been doing. And you know what? The talking in Novel's luck is a thing. We're going to see two Meet of Champions after this Sunday. I'm calling it right now.
Do you guys have any plans on going to nationals, or are you guys going to call it a season after MOC?
I'm going to be going to nationals with Griff and his son, actually.
Chase, nice.
Yeah, he made freshman nationals.
That's awesome.
Listen,
for the 800, so
he's running 207 as a freshman. That is some great running.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian?
I'm going to enjoy my break until spring.
There you go. Hey, listen,
so if spring nationals rolls around, would you do it if their nationals roll around for outdoor?
Maybe. I don't know. I think that's like an experience thing that you might have.
You
to
got to
do
bring the
once in your
cowboy
life.
boots to nationals.
Listen.
Come on, you got to
I
bring
gotta bring
them.
my
No, no, no.
hat too.
Listen, it's worth going just for the free swag.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
true.
The
Definitely.
bag, I mean, the bags are awesome.
yeah.
No, yeah,
I might.
I just love being there and honestly watching the other athletes too.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that
cool.
level of kind of like competition there is pretty cool.
It's incredible, and hopefully they get it all figured out this spring, where there's no conflict with MOC and
Yeah,
nationals. It's been kind of a disaster the past couple of years, but you got to have faith that it'll all work out. And kind of like what Alex said, guys, we wish you guys nothing but the best. Both of us have ties to that school, and we both hold it in very high regard, and we love seeing athletes from that school do well, because we know how much that those coaches put into it, and it's great seeing two great kids with a great head on their shoulders just going out there and just kicking ass with that Manchester logo on their shirt. Nothing
we
better,
appreciate
guys.
it very much, and
Yeah.
we're definitely. I'm definitely proud to represent Manchester.
As
I know
you should
Brian
be.
is as well.
And nothing against you, Dave, over there. It's always nice being Manchester. And when we're doing it, and Tom's River's not, Jackson isn't, Brick isn't, and it's Manchester there,
Listen,
there's a little
I get
bit
it, man.
more shine because
get
we
it.
are the redheaded stepsister of all of you, and we're sticking it to you. All right. So it's
Not anymore.
no, listen, in our event, in those events, we are.
These guys have helped change the whole narrative.
Yes.
It is a
Absolutely.
juggernaut in Ocean County track, and I don't, they're when you have coaches of that ilk, they're always going to put out a product that is very representative and that will make the school proud.
Definitely. So once again, we appreciate you guys coming on. Everyone look out for the results this Sunday. Watch the meet if you have the ability, if you feel like paying for it. I'm never going to tell anyone to put their money out, but you should, because these two individuals are fantastic. So
And Griff and Chef, we're getting them to bed at a decent hour. We're not keeping them up too late, so they will be ready to go.
yeah, what they do after the podcast, we have no bearing, but they will get early. So
I do just want to give a quick shout out to Griff and Chef and all the other teammates as well. So
Yeah.
love it. Definitely. Shout out to all Manchester Hawks. So once again, we're talking to Novels. If you like what you heard, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star Spotify and iTunes. Go onto that YouTube, search Talking to Novels, subscribe to us there. Spread this word of mouth. Go look for us on the socials at Talking to Novels. We'll be back next week. Another great show as always. Thanks for listening, everyone. So long.